There's a control aspect to perfectionism and thinking that we have control in the first place. The fear, the ego, all of this stuff is like raw material that is to be transmuted into gold. You're slowly creating this work of art, and maybe it never completely turns to gold. Maybe you are still left with a vessel with cracks and different pieces put together, but it's still beautiful. The core essence of the work that we do is called inner alchemy. And it's the understanding that the fear, the ego, all of this stuff is like raw material that is to be transmuted into gold. Welcome to Magic Academy podcast. Today with us is Tricia Eastman. She's a global thought leader, author, practitioner, researcher in the space of human consciousness. She published a book exploring the cross sections between human consciousness, plant medicine, human transcendence, as well as ancient wisdom. What does that mean to be a human being? This whole body and this whole being as the ultimate spiritual technology. So we may face something like you were asking in the question, where we have the ego coming up, or we have fear coming up, or we're afraid of death, or whatever it is. And that's when we take that part of ourselves and we start to do the understanding, like going into the understanding of it. Where did this come from? Where did this form? Getting into the roots of it. Is it even mine? Is it my ancestors? Because, the ancestral trauma gets passed on from so many generations that you may not even know that this was from your great great grandfather, this pattern, this unconscious pattern. And so you go in and you do the work and you turn it to gold. And this is essentially the process of soul retrieval, retrieving the pieces of the soul. And I like to think of the soul as this landscape or this map in the psyche. And in my chapter, Soul Kintsugi, it really brings together the understanding of how the process comes together. And that is the idea that this one action of this one part, it's like one of the broken pieces in a vessel. So when you think of kintsugi, it's about taking something that's broken and making it beautiful by gluing it back together. And through this like very beautiful, sacred, creative process, painting the cracks with gold. And so the painting the cracks with gold is the idea of the self-love and the gratitude, and not looking at things in this separate kind of myopic way, but like looking at the big picture, zooming out. Yes, I have inner child issues. Yes, I have issues related to the wounding from my stepfather. Yes, I have some things around self-esteem or whatever it is, but then you're working on these. They're this ongoing project that essentially is creating this vessel, and that vessel holds your spiritual power. So it's a kind of restoration of who we are in the most essential, in the most fundamental level. So the alchemy is to put together or trying to elevate and expand what is broken into its most original, most essential state. I would say that it's about reclaiming your power. Because I don't know if we know. I mean, our original state is just pure love, right? Yeah. So actually, the whole vessel isn't a cracked vessel with gold. It's actually that it first starts off as all these cracked pieces, and eventually it just becomes all gold. So the more that we're fragmented and as we go through the process, we'll turn into a gold. So the whole process is finding treasure hunts in a way. Well, it's like you're slowly creating this work of art, and maybe it never completely turns to gold. Maybe you are still left with a vessel with cracks and different pieces put together, but it's still beautiful. And imagine if you can find the beauty in this one is one of a kind. It's very special.
I think that also ties into what we perceive today as perfectionism. And I personally
Mhm.
suffer a lot with perfectionism. I think the
Me
original
too.
intention is to be as perfect, but I think that
Mm.
comes with the cost in terms of how do you define perfect? There's really
Mm.
no perfect. It's if we truly enjoy the moment, then every moment is this perfect moment. And
Mhm.
what does indigenous wisdom teach us about the idea of perfectionism and the idea of our ego's need to be perfect?
I think there's a control aspect to perfectionism and thinking that we have control in the first place. I think that when you think about what perfectionism might be from a spiritual idea, um, the Kogi always refine their prayers and they always aim to make a better prayer. Does that mean that they always make a perfect prayer? No, but it's a spiritual practice. And I think of it as an art. Like prayer is an art, making an altar, making a ceremony is an art. And the ritual act of these things done in a specific way invokes an energy in its authenticity, when it's done in its authenticity and in its sincerity, that creates a potency and an effect. So the refinement is, how can I plug in at the highest depth to this web of life? How can I dance this dance? How can I sing this song? How can I pray this prayer? How can I make this medicine with such a pure heart that it's received by the divine and it creates a channel from the divine? The divine is pure. The divine is perfect. It's sublime. It's bliss. It's like the different realms. You have the nirvana, satori, all of these different aspects of perfection of mystical states. But the reason they're perfect is because they're heavily guarded. And they're guarded for sincerity, truth, love, and gratitude. And they will always be preserved. They will always exist. So perfection, for one to be a conduit essentially to bring heaven on earth, or however you want to articulate that, to bring this here, is a virtue, and a virtue from the sense of not putting something on a pedestal better than another, but it's like a weaving. It's like weaving and integrating and balancing. And the true gift of understanding all, or many, I wouldn't say I understand everything, but to be exposed to many different traditional practices. And myself, coming from an Indigenous bloodline on my mother's side of the family, Shika, Triki, Mixtec, and just a little bit of Mayan. But having exposure to those ceremonies, having exposure to deep teachings and being in initiatic ceremonies that you're not allowed to even talk about, these give you an understanding of what that truly means. You know, you understand from an experience that every single tradition is essentially meant to bring balance, because the only doorway that will bring you into these realms is the doorway of non duality. It's like when you
The
merge the two
midway.
opposites. Yeah, and that's what the heart is. The heart is the place of the center. And it's in the center. It's like the void, it's the 0 point that is the bardo, the birth canal into accessing. And then, it's not like once you have access and you're like, I've been hanging out in Nirvana land and I want to go to Satori land, it's goalless. Like no one is trying to say, oh, like a video game or like spiritual points. It's more like the more balance I create when my soul is ready, it will receive higher levels of initiation when I'm ready.
So it's all about a lot of inner work. And then once the inner work is divinely progressing, universe will match you with the experiences that will help you to unlock your next level of consciousness in a deeper way.
Yeah. And there's no like real, I hate the word levels because it makes you think that it's like hierarchical. Because if you really think about like the four directions, where is the direction? North, south, east, west, but really like on a cosmic level, where is everything? There's no hierarchy. It's all the same. It's all playing a specific role. It's all equal. And that's why the idea of finding the equanimity, finding the equanimous being is essential.
Beautiful. Equanimity. So that's the place we're trying to be. And then equanimity is relevant to the moment because everything that we have that's real is only this moment. So if our intention and our conscious work within ourselves is to find that equanimity in every moment that we exist, then I think that I think we're doing a good job. 'Cause
Most traditional knowledge is not written in books and it is secret teachings, and you have to be initiated to receive those teachings and at different levels of initiation. And so even a lot of the channel teachings are corrupt teachings, and they might get you to like a certain level of consciousness, but then there's something off. And so it keeps you from going past a certain level of consciousness, but then you get stuck, just like a religion like Christianity, you get stuck in this dogma and you're part of it. It's like a cult. And you spiritually decay because if you're not actually growing from your own direct knowledge, you're getting secondhand teachings from a book, not from your own direct knowledge and your own direct experience. Yeah, then you start to have some entropy. You can still have spiritual growth, you can still have healing from these things, but they can only take you so far. Just like you'll never go for a bike ride in the way that you could without training wheels. And you can be like riding around and be like, yeah, I'm riding a bike. But you really never feel one with the bike and get in that flow state of really being connected to it without the training wheels. And you fall over a few times, but then you actually learn how to ride a bike.
So how do we graduate from this initial dependency to something and to actually becoming one of something coming from our own authenticity, our own experience, and our own reflections rather than something that we've learned from other places, which we have the habit to do. Like there's a big disconnection between us and our inner voices. We tend to outsource our power to the outside. We seek others to lead us. We seek others to teach us what to do. We seek others to tell us who we are. So there's a lot of like outsourcing and dependence that's happening. That's crazy.
And the big question is why? The why, I think, is because in the fundamental development of the egoic template, if the child is not seen by their mother and dad and affirmed, you are beautiful, you are amazing, you are valid, you are loved, then you seek that outside. It's almost like a free radical steals a healthy electron and creates an instability. But you have to give that to yourself. And so the first step is give yourself the love, the validation, everything that you're seeking outside of yourself, and reclaim your power. And in every moment, keep an eye where you're giving your power away. Where are you giving your power away? Where are you allowing something outside of yourself? Like, where are you being a victim? Where are you allowing something to have authority over you? Domination or whatever it is. I mean, yes, we live in a system that is very corrupted. However, we all have the freedom and the spiritual freedom. And so there really shouldn't be any situation that we can't transcend through our own healing of our anger, our grief, which helps us to get out of the victim consciousness and integrate the emotions that are stored in our body. And then to stop seeking outside of ourselves, to reclaim our power. And I think really the other core aspect is presence, because we can't receive anything unless we're in presence. And so a lot of people are afraid of really truly being present because, I mean, think about it. If you're sitting and you're just like, I'm waiting for God to give me the message, I want the direct teaching, uh, and then you're like, but what if I'm not good enough? Maybe God doesn't want to give me or what if I heard
Been
a
waiting for
story?
so long. I haven't heard anything yet. Oh my goodness.
I didn't see the white man with the beard and the robe come, and the guy over there did, and that must mean that I'm not spiritual enough or I'm not worthy. And these are all just like our childhood templates that are getting templated into our spiritual experience. So it's true. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. None of that plays in the spirit world. I mean, if anything, you're talking to yourself.
And we're all present. If we're in a moment, we're a gift.
Yes, we're all present with our presence. So the beauty of reclaiming our power, really like healing those wounds through the process of inner alchemy, we step forward and then we just become the vessel, and we are the creative vessel of this beautiful web of life that is perfect in every way. The perfection exists through the reception of that energy. When we are the vessel, we are perfect in that moment because we're able to act in our authenticity, and that is the true perfection of everything.
So the authenticity actually comes from our ability to be open to experience, to be open to whatever that's surfacing in the moment. And that's where the authenticity comes. And I think sometimes the ego closes the door.
The ego just gets in the way. It's like, I'm not good enough over here. I'm afraid. Or very badly trained dog, essentially, or badly trained pet, like not housebroken, not no manners, jumps on everybody. You gotta train it.
What do you think would be one thing that everybody can practice in this beautiful present moment to help us live in this non-duality space of pure love?
Remembering to breathe, because our breath is the journey. When you go into the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight, your breathing is different. Your heart rate variability changes. When you consciously breathe, let's say it's 8 seconds in or 10 seconds, and hopefully you don't have to count, but eventually it becomes rhythmic like music. But when you breathe in that flow, what happens is it automatically takes you out of fight or flight, puts you back into parasympathetic, and regulates your heartbeat, resets the vagus nerve. And so a lot of the things that we're fighting against, and when we're not conscious enough, is just our vagus nerve. And I would say the other thing that, I mean, that's the simple thing, but I would say there is not enough credit given in the spiritual space or the consciousness space to somatic therapy. I do 2 hours of rolfing every week, which is deep myofascial body work. Our issues are in our tissues. Talk therapy, in the brain is not going to get the issues out of the tissues. They go into your jaw, the body workers. You know how much stuff we hold in our jaw, how much we hold in our ear, how much we hold in the psoas muscle, which is like down here at the pelvic floor, that is like the muscle that actually allows our soul to inhabit our body. You have sexual trauma, your pelvic floor is all tight. That affects your root chakra. That affects your ability to be present, your ability to manifest wealth, your ability to feel good in your body. Even the feet. I mean, it's really simple. We can massage our own feet. Not everyone can, find a somatic therapist or maybe even has the resources. But I would say, like, save your money on your Starbucks latte and get really good deep release body work, not this like frou-frou, like rub oils into the skin. And then, all that kind of stuff. My background before I was in this world of medicine, which I've done for about 12 years now, was in the spa and wellness space. And I started when I was 21. And I've, studied herbalism even before that. But really, the body is our karma. Our karma is in our body. And the only way to be free is to heal your karma.
When you say the fascia work, somatic work, I've heard about like deep tissue massaging or gua sha from Chinese culture. Is that something like that or it's totally different?
So gua sha is more related to like the skin and the lymph and also blockages in that layer. Although sometimes in specific areas it can get into the joints, and the idea is to stimulate the blood to pull the toxins out to help them to release from the body. Swedish massage is a little bit more intense, but when I'm talking about like rolfing or heller work, we're talking about going deep into the layer of fascia, which is what connects the bones together, and it's like the base layer underneath the muscle. And so that's literally where all of our deepest trauma lives and where all of our holding patterns. So if you're always on a computer and you hold your shoulders like this, all of those patterns are in the fascia, but there's also like mindsets and attitudes and emotions connected to every single way that we hold our body. And there's even like, if you research, like Lewis Hayes done a lot of work around this, but there's many different, I mean, you can now just use Chat GPT. My dad was in a car accident and he broke the number 12. I think it's like SC12 in the spine. It was like a fracture, and that was all about like not being seen and appreciated in the world. And I was like, wow, that actually makes sense because um yeah, he was given up when he was a baby by his mother, and his basically identical twin grandma, because it would technically be his great aunt, adopted him. So he stayed in the family, but he could never get over this like feeling of being given away. And when you're in the crib as a baby, those are the most influential moments that affect the rest of your life. So anyway, so all this stuff just like that incident there is in our body. It's in our hips. It's in our feet. It's in our calf muscles. It's in our knees. It's behind our knees. It's behind our ears. It's like under these little nooks and crannies in the jaw. It's in our hands, especially if you're a healer. You pick up energy from people, like people who do energy work. You get this area stripped right here, it will be painful because it's just like all kinds of stuff. And then also like being on the computer, being on the cell phone, all of those things. So, yeah. And it usually is not like the feel good massage. It's definitely relaxing. It definitely is cathartic, and you structurally change. Like I can say that I've structurally changed, although I've historically had really bad posture my whole life and I try to work on it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What did you enjoy creating so much that time disappeared for you when you were a kid?
I love playing jokes on people. Me and my sister Teresa, we would play jokes on people all the time. We would like do these like Mad Libs and we would just put the funniest words in and we'd like read them and we'd be like laughing and giggling and then we'd get in trouble because it would be like, midnight and my parents would be like, "What are you guys doing? You're supposed to be sleeping." And we'd like put our little night lights on and we put like blankets and we'd play gambling where we do like go fish because we didn't really know how to gamble. And then we would have to put like high stakes items I'd put like a shirt that she really liked that she'd always borrow from me. And, like she would put one that like I liked of hers. And then like one person would win and then we'd be like, "Hey, that's not fair." You try to win it back and you like didn't want to lose it. So I'd say that's probably like my favorite thing was like having fun and goofing off.
And what do you think overall is your magic that allows you and enables you to do the work that you do now, helping people, working on the consciousness and bringing in indigenous wisdom to modern chaotic life?
Probably my joy. I always have a lightness and a joy and a brightness to me. And I feel like an old soul and a young soul at the same time, meaning that I'll never lose my youthfulness. And even my voice is more bright. And, it's like everything about me is that. And so I would say that my magic is that I had to like move through a lot of really heavy, hard stuff. I was like really bullied as a child. I had to transmute a lot of family karma from my dad's side as well as my mom's side that was like really heavy stuff. And I never became depressive about it. I've rarely been depressed in my entire life. So I would say that like I was given a lot of light and life force energy that helped me to not be weighed down by all the things that I had to move through. So I think that's my superpower. Although sometimes it has been really hard, but I would say that's my superpower. Thank
I
you.
feel like it's such a pleasure, an honor, a beautiful moment to witness you as you are and transcending and graduating from all these experiences and also learning and integrating this ancient wisdoms within you that not makes you heavy, but makes you light. And I think the true beauty and then the true love is light, like literally and like metaphysically as well. And I think
Mm,
that's what I think that's maybe I can't speak for everyone, but at least coming from my perspective, I feel like that's something I'm working on as well. I'm to embody and to resonate with this light, loving energy that's according to my thinking, my current understanding is what a kid would carry with
mm,
him or her when they first arrive on this planet Earth through the help of their mother and father. And I think that's maybe subconsciously where everyone is trying to be in the moment. And it's just not easy, but it's doable. It's possible.
yeah. Thank you. And you have a lightness and a joy to you too. And I think that's beautiful that you can give that to the world because it's so needed in these times. And yeah, I mean, I'm just so grateful to be here to serve in such a crazy, chaotic time on the planet. And yeah, it's such a gift.
And I appreciate this moment that we're able to connect through the help of modern technologies. And I
Mm.
hope that our conversation will reach people who really need to listen to it around the world and bring a sense of levity, a sense of light, and a sense of love to their present moment and make everyone realize that no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what skin you wear, no matter what food you eat, no matter what family you have, no matter what job titles you have, no matter what stage of life you are, we are all a gift. We're all present. We're all beautiful in our own unique way.
Yes.
Thank you, Trisha.
Thank you.